Also, going back throughout it, I don't believe Kerosene was played much, if at all, on the previous day's games.
Oh, yesterday he was actually ignored for the most part, I think.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him, which means you're right. He is 0-4 in the entirety of the HGC China playoffs.
It's crazy. And I think at this point, teams have to rethink their strategy. Karazim, as many advantages as he brings to the table, likely, like that engage potential, like that cleanse in the late game, like that Earth ally. It's just the lack of consistent healing. Once you're done, once you blew all of your cooldowns in that one team fight, you're going to have to wait for so long until Breath of Heaven comes back.
That you do. But for now then, we are going to see on the right-hand side, CE will get the first ban onto their home ground, the Towers of Doom. They always try to bring teams here. Question is it going to work out in their favor? This season, Towers of Doom has not been a good place for SPT. 0% win rate over 5 games. Whereas CE, they are on a 50% win rate over 4. I guess that technically means more so now because they just won versus KT on it, so above 50% win rate.
That's crazy if you think about it, that CE, they choose this Battleground over and over again only to get smacked on, with the exception of today, of course, against KT, where they were able to redeem themselves here a little bit. And if there's one thing, that was in SPT's preparation schedule for today's play day, because they had to assume that CE would make it. After all, it was practice Towers of Doom over and over again, because chances that CE would pick it eventually are pretty high. So I'm pretty sure SPT will have prepared for this.
I mean, you should always practice your weakest map anyway. And like we said, when you have a 0% win rate on a map, you practice that freaking map. And as such, we gotta hope SPT have practiced it at least a little bit as Tyrande comes in for CE.
Coach Tetcher coming in, just practice that freaking map, guys.
Hey, you bad at a thing? Get better at that thing. That's Coach Tetcher's advice.
All right, okay. If you ever, put your career as a commentator onto the nail, you're like, okay, I got this. Coach Tetcher incoming.
I mean, maybe I could make a character for fun streams one day where I just give really bad coaching advice.
I would love to see that, actually.
So if you ever have the choice between getting the tribute and the globe, always get the globe. The globe regens you, meaning you'll have more mana for the next tribute. If they get a curse, don't worry about it. You can use that mana you just gained from the globe to clean the lane.
Coach, how are we supposed to win this game? Well, easy. Just destroy the core, lol, right? That's how you do it.
I mean, you've just team wiped them. So what you need to do now is just get all the mercenaries, so the opponents can't get them when they respawn.
Oh, top tier advice. There we go, guys. Now you know the secrets of how to win every single Hero League game. Just
I might
win.
try that. Just bring it out as a costume where I have a hat and some glasses or something for it, and just every now and again, but it's just you know what? This sounds like a job for Coach Tetcher. Just boom into character. Oh dear.
All right, back to the draft though, ladies and gentlemen, because a little bit of something happened here. Tyrande is back on the side of CE with a new Barak this time around, using the weapons that SPT had just deployed on BOE against them. And for the first time today, Thatcher, we see a Sergeant Hammer slipping her way through a draft.
Yes, we do. Good map for her as well, but how is CE going to play around it? They're going to be able to bring out the Haka with Yrel still on the board, so we might see a similar issue to we did previously. There's a Thrall for a Lufel.
All right, many heroes now available. It is Leoric without even breaking much of a sweat. A confident lock-in for Soap. Looks like he is very confident in his, survivability. There is a lot of melee targets, to be honest, here. Both Anubarak, Thrall, and Dahaka are good Drain Hope targets. The question is, can Soap stay alive? Man, oh man, oh man. It is Tyrande Anubarak again for CE. But I also like what SPT has here with that Sergeant Hammer. I'm not going to lie.
I dig the Sergeant Hammer. I always dig Sergeant Hammer on this map just out of sheer domination it gives onto bot lane. But I'm always concerned about when your opponent has really good hard engage, which it's not bad for CE here. So the ability to enter, obviously Siege Tactics is great, but you don't need to win fights on towers. You need to force the enemies away for enough time to channel.
And I think so much weight and pressure is now on the shoulders, responsibility as well on the shoulders of CCH here for SPT. His nature cleanses are going to have to be insane because there is so much stunning going on the side of CE. So if Malfurion actually lands that perfect time window in which he counters the Impale, the Burrow Charge, the follow-up to Ronda Luna Flare, that could be so huge. And it's not an easy thing to do because as a support like Malfurion, you have to have good multitasking, you know, keep your heal spread, land those Moonfires to empower the heal, and then also have an eye on the backline so no one dies. Whew, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes either, but someone has to be in this case as we are preparing for our game number 4. If SPT win, they are going on to the semi-finals, I guess. It's a ladder format. There are no finals, except for the grand finals. They are going on to the penultimate match tomorrow to play against the one to decide who goes to BlizzCon. If CE win, we are heading to a game number 5.
Yeah.
For either of these teams right now, the pressure must be palpable.
Also, big shout out to a Chinese commentator and production crew. No breaks in the middle of those series. What a wonderful time to be alive. We get action non-stop here. No pauses, no halt. That is HGC China, ladies and gentlemen. Action non-stop. And now we move on to the Towers of Doom. And on the left-hand side, it is SPT. 1 point away from advancing to the next stage. It is Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and CCH.
And on the right-hand side, looking to win 2 in a row, it is Challenge CE with a Luful, XTQ, 365, KTY, and Zhuyu. That is a Moonlit Arrows, Kendrick, the first one we've seen.
That is correct, and what it does is it actually increases the cooldown reduction of Tyranda's auto attacks, you know, on that Elun's Blessing even more. So she's going to have more healing available, and let's check out the other talents that there are. You know, the Caldera Resistance, not really needed. I guess it could be good against the Reptile, but essentially it's only Junkrat you need to worry about. So that is not really a must-have. Celestial Attunement. Oh, wait a minute. We have a little bit of action going on here. Garrosh in trouble. Can he heal himself up? Can he stay alive? He can. Oh my goodness, Misaka. What are you doing to my art?
That was a gorgeous stun lock by CE, but Garrosh, with the help of the healing of Malfurion, with everyone of CE grouping up for Moonfires, Garrosh survives. A clutch escape by Misaka and ZZH, but CE, that stun lock is really scary.
All right. Okay, back to short Tyrande analysis here. Celestial Attunement, of course, the anti-stun. It's kind of okay against Garrosh, really, but it doesn't work against Roots, right? Roots is the only sort of CC it doesn't work against. So Malfurion, no value. Junkrat, no value. So I'm cool with this, you know, level 1 choice for Tyrande overall.
Yeah, I mean, more healing is always good. Like you said, there's only 1 stun, and it's pretty hard to cleanse, so you might as well. The spell damage isn't that high. Like, exactly agreed with you. It makes perfect sense here.
All right, both teams going for the Merc camps respectively. So not really a whole lot of action is going on up to this point, and especially CE, man, they need to be so cautious. Every mistake that happens could be the last of them, at least for this play of day.
Right now, double sappers meeting up in the center of the lane. CE with the slightly more aggressive positioning, but that's because there's a Sergeant Hammer on the other side, and, well, SPT don't have to play aggressively.
Ooh, KTY and Alufo make a big statement here onto Soap. With combined efforts, they take down the Skeleton King, who will come back a little bit later, of course. He does have that shortened death timer thanks to his abilities in death. So, a victory, nonetheless, though. Don't want to take anything away from CE. We see a Nubrek coming in with a cheeky combo. The Beetles prevent the towers from shooting at him. And Melody C already, needs to take a breather. I'm not sure if he has the healing fountain available or if he's just waiting for Malfurion to get his health back up.
Luful holding the mid lane for the moment. So far, XP pretty even despite that early kill, as once again, early kills don't offer that much XP. XTQ just wrecks Melody C. Oh man, that was some good damage. Zhuyu takes some damage as well, but is able to burrow charge out. Eats 2 more tower hits on the way out, though.
Oh, Raynor gets flipped to the side. If that one had been a backflip, though, into the ranks of SPT with Garrosh already in sight, that could have been one of those schmexy double knockback combos. But this time around, not really working out. So Anubrek took loads of damage. He continues to get harassed and bullied by Misaka, but also did Sergeant Hammer. But now finally Siege Tactics are online. Unstoppable mode engaged. for Sergeant Hammer.
Nice little Lunar Flare to deny the turn. It's been a trade out in top lane, 1-for-1, so it's all about this bottom mid lane altar. And CE zone away, but Hammer still doing Hammer things, creeping further forward. Can a tank creep? Yes, because it treads. As Juyu moves forward, gets another denial with the help of 365.
Yeah, and Zuyu is already brought down so low, and that is oftentimes the weakness of a Noobrek. As good as the lockdown is against Sergeant Hammer, in those longer drawn-out fights, look at the mines, by the way, providing vision super early onto Juyu, so Melodies can just hammer onto that. The trap actually expecting Dahaka to come from that angle, shuts down his momentum, and with combined efforts, it is SPT who power through and get the altar. That anticipation on Lucky was just amazing. That mine really messed up KTY's momentum.
Nice cheeky use of siege tactics as well to annoy KTY even more. After the mine had landed, this lets Hammer escape. And SPT looking good, but CE is still going to be able to hit level 7 first because they did stay in lane a little bit longer.
That they did. The question is, can they actually take all that early game pressure now, and can they maintain that pressure? Because as time goes by, more and more damage tools will be available for Raynor in particular, who now has the unstable compound, right? So even if there isn't a slow available from, let's say, a Noobrek, from Thrall in that Earthquake, he can apply his own slows and get that bonus damage on. The roots are good. The toss is better. Juyu in trouble, gets to safety.
Subterranean armor, very good here for Juyu, keeping him alive. But in the meantime, with Hover Siege online, Melody C moves forward, pinging away at the towers.
And that is the situation you want to be in as a Sergeant Hammer composition. Protected by the front line, protected by minions and the mercenaries. You just chip down in there. Misaka says, "Get out of there, old beetle." And that route also prevents Lethal from getting one of those deadly flank stun that we've seen from him in the earliest years against KT, right?
Exactly. So now SPT, they pull back a little bit here. They have the better positioning right now already for the bottom altar, and they have Junkrat to maybe deny mid, so they might just try and focus that already in advance.
Okay, 2 altars are about to spawn, Thatcher. Melody C in a pretty good position. Where is Dahaka going to burrow from this time, though? And are we going to see a Junkrat mine in time? Junkrat, though, and Leoric are still miles away, though. This is a 3 versus 4, and SPT need to evacuate.
Siege tactics pretty good. Melody C survives, but SPT, they're still denying. They're buying time here. As the Leoric zones out Thrall, mid will be taken. And with those denials, it's about to be a 5 versus 4. As Hammer survives the engage, they move back in. Leo from downtown comes in to assist.
Comes in to die and feed as well, but is it going to be a worthy sacrifice? Raynor falls to the Junkrat grenade as well.
Lucky is getting chased by KTY though, but he's able to wrap around these buildings, give himself a good positioning. Goes Leo with the slow, setting up so well. Groundbreaker doesn't land, but in the meantime, channel's already begun. And Lethal denies that, at least temporarily, but gets dropped low and is forced to retreat. Zuyu even gets his pull denied, and that will be the shots coming in for SPT. They get both.
And you know what CE's own worst enemy was here? It was their own mana bars. They ran out of juice because they had to invest so many cooldowns, so many abilities to keep SPT at bay. And without mana, even the best Tyrande can't keep up the healing, can't keep up the pressure. So with patience and great persistence, SPT actually came out on top. They neglected the soaking a little bit in the process, though, because they focused so much on the altar. But hey, 24 health only available on the core of on CE. That is looking mighty good.
That it is 36-24, as you say, as CE are going to be able to try and grab their own sapper camps to try and at least ease some of the pressure, stop the bleeding a bit here, and move down to bot lane to dissuade SPT from creeping any further with that Sergeant Hammer. Remember, this would be SPT's first win on this map with their current roster if they are able to beat CE here, who are significantly more proficient as the sapper duel begins to happen. Hammer assisting with multiple shots and napalms.
All right, the Tyrande stun was dropped out rather randomly, so Melody didn't even have to use the siege tactics. Now he needs to be careful, though. Needs to evacuate, too. The cocoon comes through, but the Sundering actually doesn't hit on Sergeant Hammer. Concussion mine there to maybe help escape.
The sappers all die, so none will make it into the fray with the tranquility. And everyone... No, Misaka does in fact go down, but can they get the counter kill with the Riptide? Big damage onto Zhuyu. March of the Black King is huge here, but the sustain coming in here from that Tyrande keeps Zhuyu alive and allows him to get a turnaround kill onto Soap. And down he goes.
Down he goes, and that was just too much healing coming in from Tyrande, who had a perfect Shadow Stalk just when, you know, the return damage was about to come in. Did she pop it? And even the mighty Riptire wasn't enough to stop that onslaught. So, Tetra, as you said earlier, CE, they were bleeding from several, you know, body parts. However, they have had some first aid up to this point. They stabilized a little bit, still, you know, a little bit bleeding every now and then, but 32 to 24 is a much better position for them right now. And most importantly, they have also closed in the gap in experience. 12 to 11, they even take a slight lead.
Zhuyu creeps forward. Like you said, with CE, a slight lead. There's SPT, they're probably getting some deja vu here from some of their other previous matches against CE on this map, where CE always seem to find a way to bring it out. Siege tactics used to dodge the Lunar Flare, but the stack is still acquired.
And the Banshee falls. XTQ a little sloppy there with a micro, and oftentimes people don't realize how big of a deal it actually is for Raynor to lose that extra ounce of, you know, additional single target damage. And the Raider cooldown is also pretty annoying sometimes. 45 seconds, nothing to be sneezed at.
Yeah, it's not bad at all here, as we see Lucky just pinging in shots against the Lufel, trying to annoy him really more than anything, and do a little bit of damage to the minion wave.
Damn it, Daniel. Get out of Heroes of the Storm. You're not supposed to be here.
Memes. As Misaka escapes. I don't know why I just said the word memes. Didn't have any commentary on that at all. As we see the shots coming in from Melody C, put some pressure onto XDQ, who's able to pull back, making the most of that extra movement speed. All
right, 13 and 13. Ladies and gentlemen, these teams are going to fight on even levels right now. Let's see. Lior can't afford to die. Needs to stay alive, but KTY is persistent. Forces out another Wraithwalk, and I'm not sure if the Fountain is ready, but he needs to use it anyways.
Next altar spawning in bottom lane. Once again, SPT are arriving quicker. Thrall's on the way, as is Leo, and Dahaka can tunnel in. But right now it is a 4 versus 3 in favor of SPT, but Thrall has finally arrived, making it a 4 versus 4. Dahaka comes in as well, making it a 4 versus 5. Leoric is the only one not here right now. Hammer might be in danger. Riptire comes in. Hammer siege tactics, and the Riptire just gets killed.
Yeah, it actually gets interrupted by that Sundering. Great aim by Alufal on Thrall here, really saving the day from, you know, additional AoE damage. And look at CE, how actually they are slightly, you know, getting the better position for this. Melody C, though, that is the one target they want to get rid of. The Sergeant Hammer is going to get so much value. Austin Renewal coming in on Soap. He's trying to tank it through, misses the Drain Hope, though.
Root do good damage. The tree even helping onto Zhu here. And this might give SPT the opportunity to try the channel. ZZH begins. KTY creeps forward. Might suffer for this. Gets tossed in. Groundbreaker has been eating all of this Junkrat damage. And Melody C, other than these lightnings, is so far contested. But here comes the dive and immediate siege tactics as he boosts away.
Boosts around. Takes a Shamey to the side, though. And they get the kill onto Thrall with a great taunt by Garrosh.
That's going to force back KTY, but Groundbreaker says, "You shall not leave until we say you can leave." They kill him off, and Zhuyu is maybe going to drop as well. Concussion Mine is gorgeous. How long till Burrow Charge, Zhuyu? Not long enough. Sorry, too long. The other way, as we see SPT, they might even try to push in for the bell tower before they cap this altar.
And since Sergeant Hammer didn't go for the BFG, as we take another look onto that beautiful fight for SPT, locking down Alufal, who went in a little too deep this time. Then a perfect throw on KTY. The dinosaur says goodbye. And I don't even know why Zhuyu went back in with that Burrow Charge. You need to be so careful when it comes to managing the cooldown of that ability. And then Lucky says, haha, I got you with that Concussion Mine, and it makes it a triple.
They picked up the bell tower in the bot lane as well before the altar, so they gain the extra shots. 19 health to 32, despite... Here's the issue. CE, they gained an advantage earlier on in the a little bit ago in the game, and during their advantage, what did they get? Nothing. SPT, they gained advantage. What did they get? Kills, a bell tower, altars. They always seem to be able to win the game back into their favor when stuff is happening, whereas CE seems to be able to pick it up during those lulls.
All right, looks like the VIPs, also known as the Zapper Camp, are going to be unleashed here very soon. Now it's up to SPT to escort them to the red carpet, as I actually want to call it here, the red dead zone. Let's see if they can actually make it all the way through. 16 is so close, yet so far away, and they need it for this defense. Can they actually keep SPT at bay? We're not even fully committing to this. It's a 3-man assault. 2 members, Leoric and Junkrat, are still soaking elsewhere. 1 goes through, 2. Is it 3? No, the other one got killed. No. Good.
Yep. All right, so SPT, see tactics again. See you later, says Hammer. Quick boost. Easy escape. No issues at all.
All right, we're going in. SPT holding this bottom lane, holding this bell tower as well. If they hold this, not only do they keep their opponents occupied and are kind of like, they kind of know where CE is going to rotate to, but they also, of course, always have that bottom altar under control. They always have the mercenaries, you know, really trying to cause a little bit more distraction. And there is another triple pack of Zappers marching through, occupying Dahaka. Melody C doesn't even think about moving. He's chipping down KTY. Can't even get him all the way back.
Quick toss away using the Indomitable Misaka. Great disengage there. Nicely done as we see a nice trade-off. 2 Sappers make it into bot lane, bringing it CE down to 10 core health. With 5 shots here and a boss available, in theory, SPT could bring CE down to 1. Riptire, huge damage as the March of the Black King. Also, they take down a Luful. They even snipe away another member here, KTY, as everyone else pulls back. This is a disaster. The channel is gonna come through here as soon as DCH kills off the Beetle. They're gonna get the boss too. Now, the smart thing to do here would be to get boss. Well, it's smart, but it's risky. Would be to get boss and then clear mid, because that's lethal. That's going to be the attempt. This is a risky play, and they need to be really, really fast. Lucky needs to be prepared to cap this instantly. They have to outrace, pushing mid lane, the clear speed of CE in this bot lane. The Banshee is here with them. It's going to be close. Junkrat has to start channeling now.
I don't think they can make
get this perfect timing. It's going to be
shots.
close.
6 shots?
He got it! He got it! SPT outraced the bot clear speed of CE, and SPT are going on to play tomorrow versus the One.
And at this moment, Taronde wished she could use the Hunter's Mark against buildings, but unfortunately she can't. So no damage amplification there. And CE, in a very unlucky way to drop that game and the series, they are dropping out of the playoffs as well. SPT continue to be CE's kryptonite, and they move on to face the One tomorrow.
SPT won their first game on Towers of Doom. Hooray!
Hey!
They did it. But seriously, that was a risky move. They could have been hard engaged on by 3 and had to suffer a 3v4. That could have suffered them. They might have lost that race, brought them down to 1. That's not the worst thing in the world. But Junkrat has to time that so well to get it in between his team getting mid and the enemy not getting bot. It's a really hard thing to time, and you have to be very trusting in your team to be able to do that.
And in these moments, when you're Sergeant Hammer, you're like, I made the perfect call, level 10. The Napalm Strike getting so much value. BFG is nice and all. It's really good in team fights, but the overall value of Napalm Strike can never be disregarded, right? It's good to clear minion waves, and it's good for sieging, and it certainly helps you speed up those tower destructions or fort destructions there. Super cool to see how all these little details come into effect, right? And it all helped SPT to claim another victory. They're going to be facing the Gatekeepers tomorrow. The One is already waiting. And if we remember what happened in the past, Tetcher, in those normal league plays, or league games, I should say, the One have a pretty good record at the moment against SPT, don't they?
I will find you exactly what their record is right now, just so we can be sure of that. This is just obviously in this phase.
Right, just in this phase.
Permanent ones.
But I think they beat them 2-0 last time those two teams faced.
The very first time they played this phase, it was a 1-1. Very convenient there. The second time, let me find it. Let me fail to find it. It was a 2-0 in favor of SPT.
Oh, wow. I was totally wrong. I thought I knew it was a 2-0. Shame on me here, Kendrick. Bow down. SPT.
That was Wednesday of week 2, where we were like, what the hell happened to the One? They're playing really badly. And it was like their worst performance for the entire season.
You're right. Okay. Maybe I gave a little too much hype and credit to the One this time. But they're still a pretty darn good team. That is certainly going to be a steep hill to climb. Let's put it this way.
They're still ahead in terms of points, and this would be the One's first BlizzCon if they are able to qualify. And it's all down to this. The next best of 5 will decide who will be the second team to join BTG in in going to BlizzCon. 7 kills to 4 at the end of that game. 2 bell towers to 0 by the end. CE never really took anything from the side of SPT.
Yeah, it was, you know, CE, they chose the Battleground is one of their most comfortable ones at that. Their draft looked good by any means, but if you let that Hammer go through, you better have more prepared for it. Hammer is, for a reason, the most feared and dreaded ranged assassin. But can bring in the specialist, I know, but ranged assassin that we have in the game. She's so dominant, she's so impactful, and so dreaded, and for a good reason.
And with that, we are done for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I know it is sad. It was only 2 best of 5s today. It's like we're a normal region in terms of the other 3, where they also only do 2 best of 5s a day. But we do have 2 more best of 5s coming at you tomorrow, starting with the one we just mentioned, the one versus SPT to decide who goes to BlizzCon. And after that, it will be the winner of that versus BTG to decide who goes through in first seed and who is our HGC China champion. Those will be happening at 11 a.m. Central European time, which is which we will stick with that one. Everyone can do their own time conversions.
Same time, same place tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. The best way to make sure that you're not going to miss any of the action is, first of all, follow this channel on Twitch right here, Blizz Heroes. You're going to get more than just HGC China by just clicking one button. It is somewhere here, exactly. You're also going to be able to watch more Europe, NA, and Korea on this upcoming weekend. And before we get lost in any of the other regions, we're going to take a look at what you can expect to come tomorrow with the one facing SPT and the winner of that match moving on to BTG. And the winner of that game will have earned all the rights and claims to call themselves champions of China.
Yes, they will, and if you can qualify for BlizzCon, you'll be joining such teams that have already qualified as Team Dignitas, Heroes Hearth, Gen G, Tempest, Beyond the Game, as we already mentioned.
Mindfreak.
As of the recent Intercontinental Clash, Mindfreak, and as of the recent Horizon Clash, Lunar Meow.
Cool to see. That's a stacked roster for BlizzCon. You want to be part of that if you're a Chinese team at this point. That is still in the race, of course. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, while we're at it, don't forget to follow us on Twitter as well, at Kendrick Swish, at Tetcher, if you want to be kept up to date, you know, with everything that's going around China and Heroes Esports as well. We're normally trying to retweet and like as much as we can. Also, if you have feedback, if you have replays, clips, whatever you want to send to us, feel free to do exactly that. Tetcher, it has been an awesome day of HGC China. We have seen KT finally being stopped. We have CE trying so hard to really overcome SPT, their kryptonite. It was not meant to be. Any final closing thoughts about this playdate and maybe some expectations for tomorrow?
For starters, I can congratulations to KT. Even though they weren't able to get far enough to make it to BlizzCon, they escaped the Crucible. Fantastic job for them, able to put on a clutch performance. A little bit shaky coming into today's games, but it did not work out in this case. CE, they're looking so much better now. Not good enough to beat SPT yet.
Don't give up.
Their new roster changes and their new role changes seem to be working out in their favor. Everything from China is starting to look up after a shaky start to the season. I cannot wait to see how they do at BlizzCon and how well they do tomorrow, and of course, how well they do next season.
With that being said, thank you so much for giving us your attention for those last almost 4 hours, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to welcome you back tomorrow with SPT fighting the one, and the winner of that, of course, then facing BTG. Make sure to follow this channel, show some love to Heroes Esports, and we'll see you again tomorrow in the Nexus and on this stream. Bye-bye.